everyone, welcome to release R49 of the game. This is my release notes, which I'm going to try and get through rather quickly, and so there's quite a lot in this release, so it'll be interesting what we find out. So let's just go through this initial parts of frame rate, polishing, world building, story polish and quests, NPC behaviours, and we get to the start of the patch notes. Basically they've added some items to the Path of Love, where we'll be able to re-enter Malice and use it as a PvE zone. Also on the Path of Courage they've added extra ability in the battle camps of the Mig and Frigg. Blood River Outskirts has been tidied up and polished. Difficulty level in all of the zones has been, starting zones has been lowered. They've changed the chest mimics and removed them all but one of them and replaced them with treasure chests. They've added a harvesting quest, and now on this particular release there's lots of highlighting of quests going on. They've added a formal truth salute, so if you go and see Aldrich in the Elven camp, or Flinese in the Vigilante camp, they will teach you a formal salute. Flinese, I hope I'm spelling that right, or pronouncing it right. His discussions have been made simpler. The quest for Hood, Gus now gives better instructions, and in the High Vale Outskirts, again they changed some of the quests and just polished them. The bedrolls, the steeple, they've changed the copper quest. It used to be a golem, it looks like it's now going to be a camp, and again lowered the difficulty. Trial users are now going to be pushed down this particular path. Ore distribution, they've added some extra gold, iron and silver nodes to the 1 and 2 tier zones. The gold is in there to balance another change that has been made. So there's a lot more gold in these lower tier zones, as well as some extra silver and some iron. So that means that newer players can get into crafting a lot quicker. They've done some scene rebuilds. They've uncloned East Longfall Wetland as a new tier 1 zone. Elysium Mines has now been changed, which is one of the big changes. Basically the satyrs have found an elaborate labyrinth in the mine, so the gold nodes have been removed from the mine, hence they have been placed around the world. Extra gold nodes have also been placed into extra crag mines to balance the gold. So if you were mining in Elysium Mines for gold, just head down to extra crag mines where you will find some extra gold in there. Desert encounters, they've added a new Corpian desert encounter, and it's also added to one of the encounters that will get difficulty over time and the chance of getting some extra rewards out of them. The undelivered mail now gives you some magical prints, so if you do ever see any, I've not yet seen any undelivered mail, you can turn it in and get some special paintings for your walls. Virtue armors, they've added the gloves into the armor set. They've added a rake emote, and in the East Longfall Wetlands they've added a banner of honesty, and a banner of justice has been added to Elysium Mines. They've done some scene polishes. The control points now have unlimited waves again, because they've brought in a cap on the amount of XP you can earn per hour, which is the reason why it was removed. So now we'll be able to see lots of people fighting in the control zones again. The White Guard's silver mines, the Understorm gold mine and the Broken Echo mines, the loot bundles have been changed so that the miners will drop more items, noticeably ore. Blood River Outskirts Massacre again has been made a little bit easier. Central Brittany, they've added some extra paved, or they've decorated the road so people know where to go when they first enter the city. And they've also added a new antiques store into the game. Built Fortress has had some changes explaining what's going on with the Obsidian Forge. Nightshade Pass has had some polish. Extra Crag Mines, again we're talking about the gold being taken away and or gold being added to that mine. Extra Crag Mines now have more gold nodes to the lowest levels of the mine to balance out the gold removal nodes that were removed from Elysium mines. So again, if you were going to Elysium mines for gold, you just need to change your mine to Extra Crag Mines. Solis Bridge Outskirts has been made easier for the new players. Roving encounters, they've added into the, I believe, the animal roving encounters like the wolves. Similar things that we've had in the Deers where a dragon would come down. They've now added it so that you can have some escalations in these zones. Adoris Blackmore now has been given a home. So, and training dummies. Okay, Vatas, they've fixed some merchant names, they've had some rock slides. The I don't know response has been changed. Now if you walk into an NPC, it will affect your virtue. So don't be knocking into those NPCs. Give them some room. Fiona Fitz-Owen has had a polish, who I don't know who that character is, so I've got a quest of my own to find out who Fiona Fitz-Owen is. And I guess we've got to learn the sing keyword, so that'll be interesting for me, something for me to do. Loads of scene fixes, scenes that were broken with audio or visual effects. Now the Sun VFX, as I've always called it, the magical sun and novia that can shine through mountains and rocks. You can now turn it off if you want. If you don't want it, just turn off shadows. Then the sun VFX will be also turned off. By the way, turning off shadows can also increase your frame rate if you are having frame rate issues. Flooding in scenes looks like it has been fixed, which I do agree with them. I haven't seen it for the last 2 months. Some companion name fixes. The tree curtains, as they call them, which are the trees that are boundaries to some of the scenes in the game. They've now been fixed so they don't render as solid black. Some Barrellands has been delayed. Now they've managed to increase frame rate by making some changes to the terrain shader, improving culling, the nearby entity system rewrite, asset optimizations have all helped the frame rate increase, so it'll be interesting to see how that's affected in the game. They've added some clock towers in the game, some runic letters, because Lord British really wants us all to learn runic. We can now learn our runic ABC, and we can also craft letters as well as buying them on store. You can now set your tables with some ornate place settings. Street signs have been, so you can actually name your streets in the game. The Prince of the Magical Elements, which is to do with the undelivered mail quests. Some ornate hanging plants, an ornate wall mirror, ornate taming sign, Ancestors Tombstone, and they've done a polish on the island player-owned town, and some equipment decorations, some items so we can place them as decorations: the halberd of the sun, fishing poles, steam hammer, virtue Durin skirt, and the cloth tunic can now be placed as decorations. They've fixed some houses. The R48 raffle has finished and the R49 raffle has started. They've changed a lot of dynamic player-owned towns, so if you look through there, any town that you might know of, if it's changed position, changed size, changed ownership, or changed name. In the crafting, they've added a new section in the recipe book for the signs. The broken tool indicator will now reappear in the game, so if your tool is getting a bit too worn, it will warn you that your tool is about to break, so you can either buy a new one or repair it. Some recipes have been added to the game: the wheelchair recipe, the operating table recipe, a gingerbread recipe so we can make a gingerbread house. Then there's a sled recipe, and the 2017 gift box, your stocking, your garland have been added. Again, because Richard wants us to learn our runic ABC, some runic wood letters have been added to the game. Of course, the clock tower has been added to the game, and also a skull sword as a dropped pattern. So you'll need to kill somebody in the game, not a real player I might add, in the game to get the skull sword pattern. Purchase orders, which are orders you can place on your own merchants, have now been expanded to include carcasses and dimes. Quest items on crafting tables, you can now drag and drop them instead of double clicking, and the items would appear in the area. Now, another interesting point here, they've added some crown merchants, and one of them is going to be selling property deeds, player-owned town taxable property deeds in the game. So if you've got loads of extra crowns, you can now go and buy some property deeds with those crowns, as well as some basements, home decorations, and some pets. So they're expanding what you can actually buy on the store into the crown merchants in the game. They've changed the crown merchant buyback system. They've added more torches into the game, so now you will see more torches as drops in the game, so you can light up your knights. SD modifiers or SDD modifiers have been changed. They've changed some various effects in the game. They've changed the fishing effect, cloth helm patterns fixed, respot fixed, shadow form fixed, scrap stacking has been fixed, so they're now stacking to one item instead of loads of separate items. The Kabbalist hood has been fixed, the virtual armour has been set as non-salvageable. Obviously some people have been accidentally salvaging them. And some artifacts enchantment masterwork has been, a few more items have been added in, namely it looks like all of the Kabbalist items. And some have been delayed because they never got round to them, obviously. Wait for R50. Some user polish. They've added a lot more sparkly signs to show us where new quests can be found on the overworld map, as well as in the towns themselves. Now, as your compass gets cluttered with sparkly signs, basically you can click on it and it will make the sparkles go away, so you can see the north, south, east and west directions a lot easier. NPC quest discovery tooltips, again this is all to do with these lovely sparklies. Multiple entry points from the overworld, they've made some improvements to that. Again, they're going on about the compass quests, they do love repeating themselves. Discord has been removed from the game because Discord made a change in how it deals with the login procedures, so it has been removed from the game until further notice. They've added some new maps to the game: Blood River Outskirts, Solid Bridge Outskirts, High Vale Outskirts, South Broken Road and Granus Colossus. And in doing so they have also fixed a load of the arrows that were pointing in the wrong direction. They've added in some of the telethon and holiday content. They're adding in the R47 telethon items, and of course because they've added in the wheelchair and operating table craftable items. You should be receiving our R47 post-mortem telethon items, which of course is the snowflake cloak, virtue fur hat, winter pattern stained glass oil table lamp, the virtue ice bow, and the virtue ice staff. That's for your $5 if you partook in that telethon. In release 48 we've added a lot of winter items to the add-on store. In release 48 we added a lot of winter items to our add-on store. In release 49 we have added a few winter recurring items to the store. So many of the rare winter and recurring items. Okay then, so we're adding into the store a winter pattern for the glass ceiling lamps and floor lamps, some gingerbread, a gingerbread house. The sled of course is already in, and they're adding in the 2017 which are already in. 2017 gift box rule leaf, your stocking, annual garland, which of course craftable versions are now in the game. They've improved load time reduction by changing NPCs how they load into the game, so your scene should load a little bit quicker, and optimised Blood River outskirts, so it should load in our target of 15 seconds or less. The Norgrad Barbarians now have a load of nice clothes, which I'm sure we will see for ourselves later in the games. In release 49 we've added existing placeholders to NPCs with a custom art. They will now drop recipes for the animal head bar right, so something I missed whilst I was reading through. It's a good time to read through this a few times. So it looks like we can get some drops for some of these headgears, so they'll drop the patterns, so that'll be interesting. The fawns have now had a nice polish, which now means that they can take up extra weapons and also have new tool tips to let you know that they are only aggressive if a satyr is around them. They become passive because you've freed them from the satyr. So that'll be interesting to have a look at. So just be aware that if a fawn is in combat, it's only in combat when there's a satyr around, and very rarely remains in combat once you've freed it. So you don't have to kill them. And it might affect your virtue if you do kill them. If it doesn't, it should. Virtue armour, of course they've added the clubs into this set, so now through quests we can now get the gloves. The camera, of course, for those of us that are partaking in the how-to video contest, that's ongoing at the present moment in time. They're changing how NPCs interact with outdoor lights in the game. They've got some new potion animations, breaking animations, sheathing and unsheathing of staves, sitting fidgeting, so fidget in your seat, and a nice one here, sitting after idle. Now normally if you put into your chat box /AFK it would sit you down. Now you are going to be forced into that happening, so that after 5 minutes you will automatically sit down. So you're showing yourself as AFK. Spiders and Corpion Colliders have been changed, some gear fixes have been changed, some invisible slimes have now been made visible, the one-man band suit has been fixed, and swimming has been fixed. Now into combat, one of the big changes in this release is they've put a cap on the amount you can earn per hour to 1 million. After that your XP slows down. So that's a buff, and I believe we'll see something on the screen when this happens. This is so that they can bring back some of the scenes like the control points being never ending again. Dragons now will only use their fire once they are below 50%. You can now interrupt NPCs from casting, and the heal rate of NPCs has changed, so they can no longer chain heal themselves. And the chaotic clone spell now works properly on NPCs. They've made some changes to the trial and have changed some visual effects. Now, the one that I did like on the test server was the Berserker stance. I thought that was very cool. So, well worth a look out. Bow strings and skills, they will now pull back properly, and they've made some changes in the bow tree. So, bludgeon skills and staves, AFK autofix, which we talked about, negative effects on the tool, which we've already seen. Soothing Rain has been fixed, set up spell Spinder, Testudo, Evaporate, Celestial Blessing, Ring of Fire, Fireflies, Evasion fixed, Death Shield FX, Bears have been fixed. Lots of fixing going on. Ice Shield has been fixed, never knew a lot of those were broken. Rapid Shot no longer increases the number of arrows. It will still increase the damage. Also, the issue when not being able to take cover from this skill should be fixed as well. So they've decreased the ability of the Rapid Shot, but increased the ability of piercing and armor piercing. So we'll just have to change the skills that we're using as in the bow tree. It'll be interesting to see how it affects our combat. And because of the Rapid Shot having such a large change, you can now unlearn it to 100%. So if you don't like it anymore, you can now choose to unlearn it totally. They've added some extra audio into the Isles of Storm, Sequina's finale, the final Oracle food and drinking, and the Oracle pets, the flying ones, the standing ones, and the Kobold toilet has had a new sound effect added to it. And again, in R49, they've increased performance, 10 frames per second increase, and double the frame rate in some scenes. So, volumetric lighting, the pledge rewards, the story editions, and of course Lord Bridges' final summary that says that 80% of the quality of the game goes into the last 20% of development. And that is our R49 release notes. And now we'll just have to see how that plays out and wait for R50. And this has been Skeggy Media. I hope you've enjoyed this release notes. If you are new to my channel, if you click on the subscribe button, you'll get to know when more of my content comes out. Feel free to leave any comments and discussions in the area below, and I'm sure other people will get involved as well. And thank you for watching.